Today I'd like to talk to you about a man named Augustín Zapata and his conversion story. It's all about the power of the Book of Mormon in converting people, the spirit it brings, and the spirit that members can feel at church, and how that can aid in their conversion process and their desire to join the true church of Jesus Christ. I met Augustine uh, after he'd already received the first discussion. The missionaries who found him taught him the first discussion and gave him the Book of Mormon. And then there were transfers, and I came to the city where Augustine lived. So me and my companion, we went and followed up with Augustine to see how he was doing. And when we got to his house, we found that he had read the entire Book of Mormon in just a few days' time. He loved the Book of Mormon and was starting to read it a second time. And I thought to myself, wow, this Augustín Zapata, he's golden. He's going to be baptized so quickly. Didn't quite turn out that way though. So we continued teaching Augustine the discussions, and he enjoyed them much. When made an invitation to be baptized, though, he was hesitant and said he didn't want to get baptized. His father, who was deceased, was a devout Catholic, you see, and Augustine told us that he didn't want to risk offending his father by joining a new faith. So I wasn't quite sure how to respond to this, but we encouraged him to keep reading and praying. We encouraged him to come to church, and we continued teaching the discussions. And he told us he'd come to church. But week after week, we kept visiting him, but he never would come to church. Every week he said he wanted to, but he never came. Finally, one Saturday night we were visiting him, and I made him promise that he would come to church the next day, and he said he would. So the next morning we went by his house to see if we could, take him to church with us. And again, he said no. And this kind of put me over the top. And I did something I've always regretted. I got mad at him. I called him a liar, which was a dumb thing for me to say as a missionary. And we just walked away. And I was vowing to myself as we walked away that we would never visit Augustine again. And it was a couple weeks before we saw him again. And in fact, we were just in the street one day, and Augustine found us and came up to me and my companion, very excited. He said he had had a dream, and his father appeared to him in his dream, and his father told him to go find the truth. And he told us he thought the truth his father was referring to might be in the Mormon church. So I challenged him to come to church the following Sunday, and lo and behold, Sunday morning we were at church, and Augustín Zapata walks in, and I was so glad to see him. And he loved the church meetings. We sat by him during the sacrament meeting, and he picked up a hymn book and started singing. He loved it. He participated in Sunday school. He was talking to members. He really felt the spirit at church, and really enjoyed it, and knew at that time that he needed to get baptized. And he was baptized a few weeks later. It was a beautiful occasion, and I know it was two things that made his conversion and baptism possible. One was the Book of Mormon and the power in that book, and second was the spirit he felt during the church meetings. He felt the spirit during our discussions, and he enjoyed it. And when he came to church, he felt that same spirit and knew that feeling was something he wanted to have with him, the Holy Ghost, at all times. And once he was baptized, he did receive the Holy Ghost, that precious gift.